During my time in Endurance DTS, God showed me what it means to live a life totally, radically committed to Jesus Christ. In Nepal, God is bringing the gospel to those who have never heard it before.
So before I came, I was really pressured to be like the perfect church girl, and now I know what it means to just live out the gospel. In Cambodia, God is really changing the younger students' lives from following their family religion into living a real life with Jesus.
During my time in EDTS, God really strengthened my identity in Him and showed me how much freedom He is bringing me into. In the nation of Nepal, God is taking a very indirect culture and softening their hearts to directly accept the message of the gospel.
For DTS, I was driven by my own desires and religious works, but now I'm compelled by Christ's love for all people. In Nepal, God is discipling believers in the local churches and emboldening them to go out and share the gospel in the villages with their fellow Nepali people.
During my time at EDTS, a lot of questions were answered about my faith, and I really came to own my faith and not my parents' faith. Like, it's more personal to me now. God's doing a lot in Cambodia. One thing they kept telling us before we came was that the youth there is really ready to hear the gospel, and it's true, it really is.
During DTS, God showed me that I need to have a little bit more of a release on my life, that a lot of things I plan, a lot of things I want to do, or things I want to be a part of, I can't. Either there's no physical way, or there's reasons I'm not supposed to be there, just as a growth in my own life. In Cambodia, God's moving a lot towards building the church, to building up the leaders there, to building up the staff, and the students, and everybody who's a part of like YWAM and churches there.
God broke my religious chains and really showed me more of His all-consuming, relentless grace that I have never known before. Cambodia is a nation that is so on the edge of revival, and they are such a young group of people, and they are all people of peace and looking for a hope of just a full life. It's really awesome.
During my time in EDTS, God did a lot of healing in my heart. God is totally in Nepal, and there He is opening the hearts of Hindus to the gospel of Jesus Christ.
During my DTS, God changed the way that I view myself, the way that I view Him, and the way that I view others. And I thank Him for giving me a chance to help others and for Him changing my life. God's healing people in Nepal actively. People in Nepal know that if they come to a Christian for healing and they pray over them, that they'll be healed.
During my time in EDTS, God showed me that He's here for every aspect of my life and supposed to be in every corner, not just specific ones that I choose. In Cambodia, God's really shifting people's perspectives from moral code to a relationship with Jesus who can fully know them.
During the 2014 Endurance DTS, God continued to show Himself faithful, as He's always been through the years, but this year in particular, He would lead me week in and week out, inviting me to take steps of faith, proving Himself faithful and steadfast. And I'm just so grateful for who He is and His character and nature, never changing. God is moving in the nation of Cambodia, particularly in the churches. I was amazed by the number of Christian Cambodian people who are testifying to the gospel of Jesus Christ to their fellow countrymen and women in their own language, and they are excited to see the gospel spread throughout that entire country.
During this EDTS, I've really seen God show me the capacity for loving people. I've had a greater understanding of God's love for me, and as I began to understand more of how He looks at me as an individual, I found I had a greater capacity to pour out and love the people around me and begin to hear their stories and really see what God is doing in their own lives. And it's been such a privilege to be a part of everyone's story and to hear and see what God has done in and through them. During our time in Cambodia, I was so privileged to see God raising up young leaders that have such a heart for their own nation and for the nations around them. It was a privilege for us to be in and among these different schools that were happening in Battambang and seeing people with a desire to share Jesus with the people around them, and to raise up and train other leaders that are capable of doing the same thing.
During my time in the EDTS, the beginning was really tough because I had to learn to switch languages, and I was tired a lot, and I really learned to trust more in God, how He provides and gives you strength in moments you don't always have it. So what is God doing in the nation of Cambodia is, it's really awesome to see. I was really surprised when we flew in how many people are eager to learn more about God. Even random people we meet on the street when we were walking out and doing ministry, they came to us and asked us more about where are you from and what are you doing here? Oh, you're teaching English, and is that the only reason that you are here? And it was a really interesting question, is this the only reason that you are here? And then we could tell them more, and they were so willing to know more about a God. So they really have a question in their heart.